evening, everyone, and thank you for being here tonight for the Anastasia Mosquito Control District's monthly board meeting. It's May 8th at 5 o'clock, and we'd like to call the meeting to order, and we'd like to start with an invocation from Commissioner LeBlanc. Would you like everyone to stand?
Heavenly Father, we come to you this hour asking for your blessing and help as we are gathered together. We pray for guidance in the matters at hand and ask that you would clearly show us how to conduct our work with a spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Give us the desire to find ways to excel in our work. Help us to work together and encourage each other to excellence. We ask that we would challenge each other to reach higher and farther to be the best we can be. We ask this in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Okay, and I'll pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and now we'll have our roll call, starting with Commissioner Gardner. Commissioner Becker present.
Commissioner Mazzata present.
Commissioner LeBlanc present.
All right, thank you. And next, we would like to recognize one of our district's good friends, and that is our superintendent of the St. Johns County Schools, Mr. Tim Forson. We are happy that you are retiring, but sad to see you go. We'd really like to thank you for being such a key stakeholder in not only our program in general, but especially of the Disease Vector Education Center. You were one of the first people here when we had our first stakeholder meeting. You brought the teachers, you brought the STEM people, you brought everyone together so we could give the teachers, the students, and the schools in general what they needed for their STEM programs. And we really thank you for doing that. And we have a little plaque we'd like to present to you. If you'd like to come up front and all the commissioners could join us in the front, we'll have the picture. And this is an appreciation and a special thanks for your collaboration and support of the Anastasia Mosquito Control District's education program through the past day. Thank you very much. Good job. Thank you. Of course, yeah, take it. If you want to sing, you can do that.
No. Honestly, I just want to say thank you. You know, I think sometimes even the community doesn't recognize. Here's the Anastasia Mosquito Control District who was willing to step out and develop and build and do what you have done for the students of St. Johns County. I mean, it's easy for me to come and be a part of that and honor that and engage our teachers and others. But the fact that Rudy has been an advocate and a close friend for a long period of time, and our kids are benefiting every day from having that education center. And it's one of those elements of living in Florida, those of us that have always lived in Florida, is providing an opportunity to understand their world and their environment and all of those things that in many cases, many of those students will hopefully follow in a path of science and a path of the STEM that can benefit from that opportunity. And in some cases, I know it has stemmed an interest and a passion among children and among students. And it only happens because you made that happen, because you persevered, you pushed forward to have that happen. So on behalf of all students of St. Johns County and parents and families, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy your retirement. And if you get bored from being a retiree, you could always come be a volunteer ambassador at the Education Center. All right. Is there any citizens' participation for items not listed on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll motion to approve the consent agenda.
We're on the regular agenda first.
Oh, proposed agenda.
I'll second.
Okay. And all in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Or do both like me. Unanimous. Next is an approval of the consent agenda. Are there any additions, removals, or approvals? So would someone like to make a
I'll
motion?
motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right. And we've got a second. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. All right. And also, we'd like to thank Ms. Hodges, who is here for our policy meeting. And now we have Mr. Dan here filling in. So hi, welcome back.
Thank you.
All right, well, we are going to start with unfinished business, and that's going to be item number 1, which is our auditor's report for the fiscal year of 2023 through 2024. And hi, Ms. Klein, it's a pleasure to see you.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here this evening to present to you the annual financial report for the year ended September 30th, 2024 for the Anastasia-Mosquito Control District. Okay.
Oh, there.
Oh, here we go.
Thank you. I'm technically challenged some days, especially late in the day. In the
We
mornings,
all
I'm pretty
are.
good.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
The first item, and we kind of go over this every year because it's new for you guys to see every year, but there's a letter called Communication with Those Charged with Governance, Matters to be Communicated. There's certain items that we have to communicate based on our governing and auditing standards. And they're the responsibilities of both yourself and myself, the plan, scope, and timing of the audit, and any significant audit findings, which includes the items that are listed. There were none of those items that were discovered for the audit. We did have one thing that was a little challenging that the staff and I took some extra time on, was the all that construction in progress that we've had going on for several years, which we could just say was construction in progress. Well, since it was now put into place into service this last fiscal year, we had to then go through all that and discuss the what was equipment, what was displays, what was actual building construction. Now, we didn't do item by item, but it had to be grouped a little bit better because they all have different lives. So, 2.5, 3 years worth of things that were all together, we had to go back and then separate them out so Scott could get them on the depreciation schedules. So that was a little challenging, but we managed to do that and get those things. So moving forward, that's all done, and we'll be able to go forward with that. But those were a little challenging because both the education building and the SIT building had significant equipment purchases that were included in those numbers, but the equipment wasn't being utilized, so it was still in the work in process. Again, the annual financial report, which is prepared by the staff of the district and then audited by myself. The first page in the annual financial report is the auditor's report. And again, you received an unmodified opinion, which means that the financial statements present fairly in all material respects the financial position and changes in financial position for the year then ended in accordance with the U.S. generally accepted accounting principles. The management's discussion and analysis, which I always say to you, if you don't go into all the other stuff in the back of the statements, you should always, at least, this is like the executive summary. You should always pay attention to the management discussion and analysis because it gives you the financial highlights, an overview of the financial statements that are a little further back in the package, condensed financial information for 24 and 23, an analysis of significant budget variations, because in the back of the report, there's a actual to budgeted, I shouldn't say it, I guess you could call it an analysis. It's a one-page statement that compares the actual to the budget. And then capital assets. You don't have any debt. Normally debt would be in there too, but the district doesn't have any debt, so it's not included in the management's discussion and analysis. Your condensed statements of net position, let me skip that for a second. Let me go here. Oh, I must have lost a slide. In the financial statements, there's the government-wide financial statements, which are more like the statements of a public entity. So basically, the fund financial statements are what you base your budget on. Your budget is based on fund accounting, which is more of a cash flow, not exactly a cash flow, but more of a cash flow type of statement. In the fund financial statements, your capital assets are recorded as an expenditure, and your, what else was, you don't have, I'm trying to think, there's a couple things you don't have that would be recorded. Like if there was debt service, it would be recorded as an expenditure too. When you flip those numbers to the fund financial statements, all those capital assets are capitalized and depreciated like you would see in a business. And then also there's in the government-wide financial statements, there's adjustments for your portion of the FRS pension. So those changes, those are the two things that when you go from the fund financial statements to the government-wide, those are the main changes. Oh, there is one other one. There's compensated absences are in the government-wide. And those are monies that your employees have earned for time off, vacation, and sick leave, but they haven't taken. So those are accrued in the government-wide financial statements also. This is condensed statement of net position, which is the one that's more like the business. And it's in your management's discussion and analysis, and it just basically takes the pieces that we just discussed, and in one line you have your current and other assets, your capital assets, again, and then your liabilities. The two that always look weird, your non-current liabilities includes that FRS pension that I discussed earlier, and then you have deferred inflows and outflows related to pensions, which they're basically revenues that haven't been earned and expenditures that haven't been taken. So those numbers relate to the FRS pension. So you have total net assets of $26,883,310. That's your net assets. When you take your assets less your liabilities, that's your net position.
Ms. Klein?
Yes, ma'am.
When you said the deferred inflows related to the pensions, is that meaning that employees that have a pension but they are not taking it?
No,
or
basically,
they're going to take it?
when the pension's accounted for, there's certain items that you've either paid, deferred outflows of resources or money that you've paid out that really aren't expenditures in the current period, where deferred inflows of resources related pensions are monies that you have coming to you that you haven't earned yet. So basically, you can almost look like it, like unearned revenues are the inflows, and expenditures that really aren't applicable to this period are the deferred outflows.
Thank you.
And again, this just kind of tells you the numbers that we were talking about that I already brought to your attention. The net pension liability, the deferred inflows, and the deferred outflows. There wasn't a whole lot of change. Some years when there's a big change between those numbers, the net pension liability, I think 2 years ago is when we had a really big change. So it really made the numbers look a little unusual, where this year everything kind of stayed status quo. Nothing changed materially between the 2 years. So it kind of kept everything the same. It didn't change all the other numbers. You have a condensed statements of activities. Your property taxes, as you can see, went up. Your total income went up almost $1 million, but not quite. Not even quite 900 and not quite 900,000. Personal services increased, benefits increased, and the number that you will see that will increase even more next year is that depreciation expense, which is where I was talking about, where we had to capitalize all those assets and start depreciating them. Some of the assets weren't utilized during the whole year, where next year you'll have a full year's depreciation. Again, that's not a cash outflow number. It's just that ratably utilizing the asset throughout its useful life, which is determined. We stick pretty close to the IRS depreciation lives. There hasn't been a real big change from the district here to that lengthens the lives significantly over what the IRS. The only other thing is it's straight line depreciation rather than any modified version of depreciation.
Ms. Klein?
Yes, ma'am.
On the interest income, in 2023, it was the 381,000,
Mhm.
and then it was the 500,
Mm-hmm.
or this might be more of a
Well,
question for
there's-
Scott. Is that from our Wells Fargo sweep account?
It's SBA and Wells Fargo together.
Mm-hmm.
They're combined. And because you put a little bit more money, because you started using the sweep account also, rather than, and you hadn't moved much money back to SBA, the SBA kind of stayed a little flat. It kind of then, but you had more money invested and you made more interest income. The rates didn't change that much, so that wasn't what it was. But a lot of my clients, my smaller clients, they'll, because you front loaded on your income and you get so much, your property taxes come in fairly early in the year, a lot of my clients will invest the money quick, fast, as soon as they get it, and then take it out, take distributions out through the year. The district has never been one to move money in and out of SBA. But a lot of my smaller clients will do that. They'll put it all in while when they first get it, and then take it out as they need it throughout the year. But with the sweep account, that might, now since there's so much that's going into the sweep account, that'll probably take care of that problem anyway. So you probably wouldn't need, unless the rates are significantly better. You may want to consider, making a change there. Again, this is the analysis of significant budget variations, which is at the very end of the report. Scott comes up with the reasons for the variations, and I just kind of review them. The personal services and benefits were $93,000 under budget. One of the things that the district usually does is the budget's usually created based on an above average mosquito season, because there's two reasons usually. You never know, what the season is going to look like, and then you also, and it doesn't affect the district so much because the financial position's so good, but hurricane season comes at the time that you get, usually there's a time lag, October and November, you don't usually receive your first property taxes until the end of November, and that's hurricane season. So you don't really have any other money coming in during that time. So lots of times there's a little bit of a lag because they know the timing of hurricane season, it's not unusual for us to get hit the first week of October. So financially and making sure that we've got sufficient funds, although it spans 2 budget years, they always usually budget for an above average hurricane season. That's how most of the districts that I've seen, kind of do that. So again, that's where you end up with some of your variances. And the district's variances are always usually, very seldom do you have, of course you're very good at amending your budget too, very seldom do you have a situation where it's a negative variance. It's usually you're below your budget. Capital outlay, we had a budget of $2.7 million. We spent 1.9, which left a variation of 1.5. And it's my understanding there were projects and other upgrades that never got started that were anticipated. So you've got, some extra funds sitting there still. Capital asset acquisitions, most of what was going on for the construction in progress during this last fiscal year was related to displays for the Disease Vector Education Center or equipment for the SIT building. Most of the actual construction was done prior to this fiscal, so everything else was pretty much what was going in the buildings. You had mowers, vehicles, and then some of the equipment for the SIT building. A lot of the equipment, though, although it's not showing here because it wasn't acquired in this year, were put to service this year, but they were in work in process and purchased in prior years, but they're not reflected here because they weren't acquired during the current fiscal year. This is where I was just kind of telling you a little bit about the financial statements, the government-wide and the fund financial statements. As I said, your government-wide financial statements are first, which are the statement of net position and the statement of net activities, followed by your fund financial statements, which are the ones that is your budget basis, which is your balance sheet, your statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. Then you have reconciliations on page 12 and 14 that explain those differences that I discussed earlier between going from the fund financial statements to the government-wide. So it actually lays out, these are what's different between these two sets of statements. You then have the notes to the financial statements, which provide the detail to all the numbers and stuff that are in there as far as, what it is. And then there's certain required supplementary information, which a lot of it is related to the pension, and then it also includes that budget analysis page that I was telling you about earlier. Again, these are the differences that I had discussed earlier between the fund and the government-wide financial statements, which will, on 12 and 14, pages 12 and 14, you'll see the details of each. Net position, which is in your government-wide financial statements, is broken down into two pieces. One is your investment in capital assets, and the other one is unrestricted. In your fund balance, which is your fund financial statements, you have non-spendable fund balance, restricted, which is outside restricted, which we don't have any of those anymore, assigned for future capital outlays and contingencies, which is a board-designated assignment, which usually is done through numbers that are in your budget as you carry forward, and then you have unassigned fund balance. This is your statement of activities. This is the stuff that I like the most, is when I'm looking at multiple years as far as what's going on. As you can see, taxes have increased over the last 3 years. Grants have decreased somewhat over the last 3 years. Interest, of course, is going up. Your gain or loss on disposition of assets is never a very big number. And then your other income has increased. When I looked at 2024, this year we had $107,000, I think, of FEMA money that we finally received, which FEMA money is usually not accrued because you never know when they're going to get it to you. It could be 2 years, it could be 3. So it's not accrued because there's such a time lag from the time that you request it usually to when you actually receive it. Personal services have increased throughout the time period. Personal service benefits, that one's going to be a little wonky, and it must have been in 2023. You see where it goes up. That includes the FRS pension. So what must have happened is that must have been the year when the numbers switched from the amounts that were from 22 to 23, that the liability and the deferred inflows and outflows changed a lot. So that flux then puts a bigger number in the benefits, because that's where your FRS, your payments for the pension go. And so that's why the 2023 numbers is higher, because there was a big change in the FRS numbers that year. Operating expenses this year, for the first time in I don't know how many years, we actually utilized that 200, not the whole 200,000, but we utilized a portion of what we budget to do aerial services. We got a single wing plane, I guess, to do aerial services, during the year. And so that's part of the reason that number's up. Let me just see here. Let me just go. What else did I have there? Oh, we also hired a lobbyist. So his numbers are in, their numbers are in there too. Everything else was probably just, there were smaller, increases, but those were the two major ones. Insurance rates, we've got more stuff now, so the insurance company to insure it, it's going to cost us a little bit more. Other than that, I'm not seeing, just taking a quick look here. Maintenance and repairs, that's just, we had some bigger items that weren't capital, they didn't meet our threshold for capitalization, but they were a little bit bigger fixes. I think there was a little bit of screen damage and stuff like that really was a repair. It wasn't capitalized. So some of that, I think, is what caused the maintenance and repairs numbers to be a little higher this year. Other than that, chemicals were higher, and of course that depreciation number, as I mentioned earlier, is higher. Chemical usage was up, and I did prices and usage, but that's, I will have to admit, the district does a really great job, because one of the things that I do when I audit is I view the ending inventory, but I also take the numbers out of the database for usage, and I take the prices for what we purchased during the year and see how close that comes to what we've got for usage in the GL. And I'm going to have to definitely say that I have very seldom have I had an issue where I've had to go back and question something, and when it has been, it's usually been a small spill of some kind. So those numbers are usually really good. The staff does a really good job of the chemical usage and tracking everything. There's a report on internal control and compliance in the back. There were no compliance violations discovered, no significant weaknesses, deficiencies, or material weaknesses discovered, and there were no significant control deficiencies. Page 27 is just a report that the Auditor General wants us to now have in the audit. We started a few years ago. It just means that you're in compliance with Florida statutes 218, 415, and the investment of public funds. This is the 2024 program expenditures from the fund financial statements. As I always mention, if you start at the top and go to the right, that's how they go across the bottom. So personal services is that really big blue one. The little darker one is personal service benefits, which definitely shows you that a little over half of our budget is for our people. I mean, that's basically, we are a service industry, and that's what we're looking at. In years where we have a lot of capital activity, it shifts the way that the pie chart looks, but other than that, this is pretty common breakdown as far as, the percentages that we spend on different areas. Again, I still, we've got all those assets are now being used. You've got the aerial and drone program, still kind of, I'm not going to say infancy stages, but still in maybe the toddler stages, where you're still trying to figure out what are our costs, what costs are we going to incur to maintain these programs? What do we have to have in our budget in order to maintain these programs? So you're going to kind of still be learning that piece as you move forward. I mean, it was one thing to do the construction, and now we're to the maintenance side of it and the repair side of it. So as you're doing your budgets and planning, that's the piece that's going to have a little bit of a angst to it because you really don't have the history. You really don't quite know what it's going to cost. So that's the piece that, you're going to have to kind of pay attention to as you move forward. And operational costs. I mean, also, electricity and all that other stuff with all the buildings now online. Things are going to change, and you just need to prepare for that and anticipate that as you're looking at your budget process moving forward.
Would you suggest, we add an extra percentage to the budget to account for
I don't know
that?
if that's necessary. I mean, I've had discussions with Rudy a little bit about, millage rates and the budgeting and stuff like that. And I think maybe it's just a matter of making sure whatever resources you already have that are set aside, that you determine what the usage is going to be. I really don't want to see myself. Can we fix that? But yeah, as you move forward, I think it's just going to be, our reserves are this, and what do we want to do with those? What is our plan for those reserves? There's a reason we've accumulated this money. What is our plan for it? So that just needs to be a big part of the budgeting process too. And I just want to thank you all. There's my contact information in there. This will be the last year that I'm presenting the audit. I've appreciated you allowing me the opportunity to work with the staff for all these years. I've told them anything they need. They can always, I have a lot of history and I know a lot of stuff about the district as far as the finances. So if there's anything anybody needs, they know how to find me. But thank you so much.
A wonderful job over all these years that I've been here. And
It's been fun. I really enjoy, but auditing, there's so many new standards coming out, and I'm not getting any younger. And I've kind of taken on a role with a lot of clients. I've had some larger audit firms that are reaching out to me to say, can you help our smaller people get ready for us to come audit? So I've kind of taken on that role, which I like a little bit more because I have to know the standards, but I don't have to know them as well as they would. I was talking to the staff. They came and talked to me. I got here a little early, and we were discussing there's some new standards that are coming out that they're going to have to be prepared for because the auditors are going to want to implement those because one of them has an implementation, a couple of them have implementation dates of this next fiscal year. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming down the pike that, it's easier for some of the larger firms to kind of handle because they've got the staff to kind of do some of that. And it's just too much work for me right now. But I appreciate it, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, I would have loved to give you an award, but
It's okay.
we can mail you.
All you have to do is accept the audit report, and we'll be good. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Well, thank you. Well, that was a very detailed audit report that we had from Ms. Klein. And would there there like to be a motion for the board to accept the auditor report as it was presented?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
And I'll second.
Okay. Is there any public comment? Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All those opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, thank you. All right. Now we're going to move on to number 2. So we are going to have a updated report on our auditor selection committee process and where we're at.
Thank you,
Dr.
Chair.
Shu.
Yeah, this we talking about the last year, October, about approve the auditor selection committee policy. We advertise it for recruit some volunteer for the auditor committee member from a particular Xinjiang County or even other Xinjiang County. I know anyone official apply, so that talking to Commissioner Gardner, she said the former commissioner done government interesting, but he didn't submit anything, but it's the board, you can make appointment here, yeah. So then I asked her about the Auditor General state government, because every time talking, we did many years, our board commissioner, 3 or 5, is a committee member,
Okay.
auditor selection committee member. It's a auditor select committee member. What's happening?
Oh. I think the battery was messed up in something.
Oh,
It was,
That was light.
it was, yeah.
okay. Then I asked the, his name called Derek, not India board book. He said it's all board member you can eligible could be the auditor select committee. Doesn't need to have to appoint the other side. So we are small board. It's only if 4 board only 5 members. So that's the reason we did many years the auditor board as an auditor selection committee member. Now, if you have other side, it will be fine. If not, you can still serve. But they have to follow the policy. So that other thing, if the auditor selection, auditor, I asked other second question, he said there's no any against the auditor continue service. So that's Ms. Klein said maybe she's not interested and therefore continue. So we advertise it and hopefully we have a committee today. Board need to make a committee member. You can committee member, or if you want, you can appoint Don Gorin to the committee member. He's almost agree, so that you can. We have the auditor selection that RFP, so we can give it to you. You can look at it. You can any question about the RFP. So we did it several years ago, 2023 actually. That's the reason we select 2 proposals. We select her continued service. So they let me know and Mr. We will know. So once you have a change for RFP, we may re-advertise it and next meeting we can present it to you. Then you can look at what's happening.
So it sounds to me like we need to kind of make an update to our current policy then, since we need to have that committee and we haven't had any public apply yet. It sounds like we might have potentially one, but I think he should come in person and let us know. Am I allowed to make a motion as the chair? Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to waive the membership eligibility and composition in section 5, that's in the policy here, of the board's auditor selection procedures policy and appoint commissioners LeBlanc, Mazzotto, and Gardner to serve on the auditor selection committee. Mazzotto, sorry. What did I say? Mazzotto. Oh, Mazzotto. What am I doing? Well, I'm at, put
So
some
who is the
northern on
chair?
that.
Who is the committee chair?
Well, first we have to see if
Oh,
we have the
okay.
committee.
Okay.
Okay, so does the board,
I'll second that if it's a motion, right?
yes. So is there any discussion?
Yes. So this, was this going to be at a different time, or does?
Yeah, what is this going to consist of?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
It might be one meeting, like, the committee will
Just a
decide
one
that.
meeting, not
But
many
it's
meetings.
like one meeting
Okay.
every 6
Yeah,
months
one meeting
kind of
should be
thing.
fine. We, everything is many years, we sign the procedure so many
Or
years.
maybe one meeting a year.
I just want to know
It's
what, I just
just,
want
it's
to
the
know what it
committee
is.
that's gonna say, hey, this is what we want for the auditor, and then the committee will say, okay, and then bring it to the board, and then the
Sure.
board.
Okay. I just, my time is, I'm working full-time, so I just don't, to take on an additional thing is an issue.
Okay.
So I would have to know, I mean, if it's not going to be within the board hours, I don't know that I'm going to be able to attend. Like,
We
I
can
don't
make
know.
it, so it's,
Or
Better for
maybe
you.
you can online, Zooming, you can.
is that something we could
Community.
do as a Zoom? What about a Zoom?
I mean, I'm full-time, like, I just, I'm not sure that it can even do that, because if I'm having students, or, you know what I mean? Like, I
Yes.
just don't know that that's an option for me,
Okay,
so.
so, yes, Scott?
Scott Hand, CFO, Anesthesia Mosquito Control. In essence, you guys have always been the audit selection committee. It seems like we're getting caught up in a lot of red tape. Can you guys just do away with the resolution and go back to the way it was before? That's really what you guys are doing. We're just getting tripped up in a lot of resolution language.
Well, we have to have that as part of.
Can you
statute.
do away with, vote to remove the resolution for the audit selection committee?
That's a Florida statute.
A
Unless
statute
Dan
has
can-
requested the auditor selection committee, statute requested, but their fire board member should be,
The state requires, unfortunately,
yeah,
An audit selection committee?
yes, they're acting like a committee.
I agree with you 100%, except there's a statutory requirement that we'll do our best to get removed in the future, but for now, we have to have this selection committee.
Okay.
And 3 members, 1 member has to be a district commissioner, so right now, we don't have any other candidates, right? Then,
We have a
so-
potential candidate.
correct, so, right.
Yeah, also Commissioner Gardner is the financial chair, back to financial chair. Usually you was the auditor committee chair.
But
Can-
it sounds like there was no max amount of commissioners. There was minimum of 1 commissioner, but there was no maximum amount of commissioners.
Correct,
So,
but you have to have 3 members
okay.
of the committee.
Okay,
So
but we
one
have to
could
have
be
a
a
formal
person.
resolution.
Yes.
That resolution just came about recently, and we've been doing audits for years.
I agree with you
Okay?
100%.
So that resolution's mandatory, that it has
It's
to
a
stay
statute.
the way it is?
For now, yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So we
Oh,
just
thank
need
you.
to have 3 people, 1 board member and then 2 other.
I
individuals.
understand your
Can we-
frustration.
Can we wait on that until I mean, I just don't think I'm going to be able to do it. And I can't commit to something that I just,
I don't think you need to if we only need 3.
Members.
We
so,
only need 1 board member and whoever.
and then you need a third
So if
person.
if
Okay,
the 3 of
so-
us are done.
Yeah, so it could be
Yeah,
anybody.
it could be the
Yeah.
3 of us
Okay,
Right.
and,
Potentially Don Gervin if he's interested.
And you never know when another member is appointed,
You don't-
another commissioner is appointed, that could be,
Yeah.
that could be the rookie's duty.
I know.
yeah, so I think for now, we'll
Move ahead.
amend that and take LeBlanc out and put me in. Okay, all right, so we're gonna amend it, so it's the 3 of us. And so I had a first, I had a second, so now we need a vote. All those in favor of creating this? Okay, all those opposed? Okay. So now we need to appoint a chair of the auditor selection committee. If you're the financial chair, it makes sense. It's up to you. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
there's a motion for Gail to be the chair of the of the auditor selection committee, and I'd like to make that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, then vote on that? All right, okay, all right. Okay, so we've got that. And then if we do get more people, then if any commissioners want to leave or more people want to join, then we can amend that
when
There's
that comes
nothing
up.
that says it has to be 3, it could be
No,
more
it
than
just has to be one commissioner.
one commissioner, more that can be
At
more.
least one commissioner.
It can be, yeah, it could be
good.
more, it could be 5.
More is
You know, if we had 10 and all 10 wanted to serve,
Right.
whatever.
Okay.
All right, so now we're gonna move on to unfinished business, number 3, and that was the discussions that we've been having about the travel policies. So today, the policy committee met and we went over with the fine tooth comb the new policy that's in the board book. There was a couple little language things that we said we were gonna add to it. That doesn't take away anything, though, that's what's presented here. And that was more about bonus and pay grade things. Ms. Sheila will present that at a later date. So, Ms. Sheila, would you like to come up?
Hi, Sheila Rivera, HR Generalist. So as Ms. Becker said, we came up with a draft of a travel policy and we met earlier to present it to the committee. We included language to address some of the concerns that the board had expressed previously, including how to approve travel for the board if there isn't a meeting, like if there's emergency travel, including what to do if staff wants to share a hotel room, use of county vehicles, applicability of insurance if a person is ill while on travel, and basically all of the concerns that the board had. In our preparation of this policy, we researched the travel policies from Indian River Mosquito Control District, Collier County, St. Johns County, as well as Florida Statute 112, and the recommendations of the Society for Human Resources Management. Do you have any questions regarding any of the specifics of the policy that I may be able to answer for you? No? Okay.
I think the two of us asked you quite a lot of questions during
Yeah.
the meeting.
I won't bother you anymore.
I mean, she added in all the stuff that we've kind of talked about the last couple meetings. And it looks, good. We've got the chapter 112 section in there, and that's something that Ms. Hodges was going to write a little bit of language for, just to give a clearer picture in case tomorrow none of us show up. Whoever takes over will know what to do in that situation. And that's how we want to remember to have all of our policies. Nobody's here, can it still run? So that's our job, is to make sure that everything can still run. So is there a motion to accept the new travel policy?
I'll motion to accept the new travel policy.
Okay, and do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, and is there any public comment? Is there any commissioners' comments, questions? Okay, all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And Ms. Rivera, I'd just like to say thank you on behalf of the board, because you really got thrown into here, and we're like, here, just do all this work, welcome on your first day. So we really appreciate all the hard work, and all of the staff has done nothing but compliment you, and I think you're a great fit for our district, and we really, sorry for the county for losing you, but yay for us. And thanks for helping us be a better district.
Thank you. There's lots more to do.
All right, and Mr. Hannah.
Good evening, Scott Hanna, Anastasia Mosquito Control District CFO. Going over the budget amendment. We had a FDAX grant, number 3178. Correct me if that number's not the right number, but but anyways, the way the FDAX grant was written, that we had to prepay for certain products. We had chemicals, and we had some capital outlay items. And the chemicals, I guess they were specific. It was basically free money, so we had to buy the items before we got reimbursed by DAX. And in talking to the operations manager, she wanted to see those numbers that we expended out of the budget returned to the budget so she could use them in a better method, because I guess there were certain chemicals like Aqua Control with a K, mosquito mist, Dibrom, Ramoa, and Duet. Maybe in those ratios aren't normally purchased. So she encouraged me to enable her to return the $212,525.92 back to the regular chemical budget, and the capital outlay for the additional variable flow sprayers that we normally might not purchase, which is $92,540.82. It didn't go over the budgeted number, but she really wanted those amounts still in the budget to use for other items that she thought would be a better fit. We did slightly go over the grants. We had to bring it in as grants and donations, which is a revenue category. This isn't like a typical budget thing where we went over budget on revenues and then we had to equalize it down in expenditures. So we ended up just taking it out of contingency. I mean, it was still a win-win for the district. We got like $305,066 from FDAX, which was just money.
We'll be getting a little bit more too.
And we'll be getting more, yes, yep. So it was a good win for the district. But it's just a formality, and categorizing it for budgeting purposes is why this amendment is really atypical, but that's just the way we had to do it for FDAX formality purposes.
And then it's going to go back into the operations budget.
Yep, it's there to be used in case we need it for other things. Yep, and that's about it.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you.
Is
Thank
there
you,
any
Scott.
questions for Mr. Hanna on this? No? Okay. Is there any public comment? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the budget amendment to FDAX as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right. And do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. And any other commissioner comments? Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hanna.
Thank you, Scott.
All right. Now we're going to move on to our new business, number 1. This is exciting for me because I think we need a lot of employees. So we're going to hear about, from our director, a request to increase the number of full-time employees.
Thank you. Yeah, I would say last year we have several people in number of employee increase. Yeah, this year started, we budget for next year. So we need to increase 4 more position. That total currently we have 39 full-time position, include 3 contract position. 1 is state grant contract, 2 is like a federal grant contract. So they also that last year we bought approval 1 HR full-time position. So that's a total of 39. I would like to request 4 more position. And 1 is a full-time IT technician, and help with our current IT. There's 1 full-time custodial janitor, and 2 many building need to clean, need somebody to maintain it. So that's the current face challenge, difficult to find a seasonal employee, temporary employee, the all request the benefits. Yeah, it's we really do need 1. Another 1 full-time AP mechanical, and for helicopter, and 1 full-time field technician. Also, it not a challenge since this year, but this year so far we are okay. For next year, I'm worried about any grant funding from the federal government. Now it's cutting limit. Like last year, we received about over $400,000 from federal grant funding. some laboratory stress, and other funding from two center, excellent center, some funding. Next year, I worry about it or lose something, definitely lose the CDC, the hurricane, and some funding. Told me they cannot set a budget for hurricane, so some kind of funding and more. So that we need some people, because currently we have a existing regular education center. We need 2 full-time running. The season is okay, anytime 6 months we can rotate it. Also have a SAT. SAT, we cooperation mosquito mite, so we need about a total full-time. Currently we have 2, need maybe adjusted. Also look at the situation, maybe if granted and we do not receive too much money for grant, we can rotate some kind of project from a research, applied research group and going to some support field technician. We do need one budget, one full-time field technician. Some could be job shift change, leave change. Because we are dependent taxpayer and customer service. Taxpayer services are number 1 priority. Everything we have to fall in this one priority. That's basically it. Now we need a body motion to approve, increase the full-time staff to 43. That's for budget purpose. We quickly work on the budget. I will give you budget draft book end of this month or early next month. So June meeting, only items discussion budget, item by item, major issue of June's budget. Because July we need to discuss about the budget rate. That's basically any question, any suggestion. Also, you can anytime talking to me, talking to Scott, talking to Winton, we can doing what's best to keep our quality service. That's the most important thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you,
Shu.
Dr. Shu.
Does anybody have any comments for Dr. Shu? The only thing I would like to see is maybe 2 more field techs. We have, how many service calls did we get last year? 5,000?
No, last year only a little bit was 3,000.
3,000?
Yeah, because we twice air supply big help.
Oh. Okay, well, I think we still need some more technicians.
Yeah, we were rotated from a research group because you don't have grant. How can you keep it just really rotated? Rotated from a other group to field service group. We have the people
You're
here.
gonna take people from others?
Yes,
and
others,
put
You
them
said
there.
rotate 'em?
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So he's gonna rotate, like, maybe grant people and stuff to go into the field.
Yeah. Also, big challenge, we have no idea what's happening the property tax. Governor push abolish property tax. So next year, what's happening, we have no idea. I'm sure the taxpayer, everybody happy, wouldn't pay property tax, but what can keep the service? So that's what most we worry about it. Easy to hire, difficult to lay off. I would like a more conservative for the situation currently. We keep a watch. Lucky we have a good reserve. I don't want to spend too much about that. So we can keep the quality service, look at, watch it, the governor and the federal, what's going on.
And then we can add.
Yeah, we can adjust anytime, we can budget minimum, can adjust, depend the need.
I would like to make a motion then to increase the number of full-time employees for the fiscal year 25-26.
I'll
To-
second that.
To 43
what?
employees?
What?
43?
Yeah,
43 total.
four, yeah.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, and before we do we have any public comment? Okay. And is there any other commissioners' comments? Okay, so we have a first and a second. So all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. So next, we are going to hear about our technology, education, adoption, collaboration, and benefits at AMCD.
Thank you. Yeah, this is since many years, we started more pay attention technology adoption and try purpose increase the collaboration and attract more outside grant. So every year, average about $400,000-$500,000 the grant money coming from the federal government, from the industry. So we have dedicated staff work on. It's very good, yeah. So that's the way, we have benefits from this kind of collaboration. This current situation, malaria in the world, still 128 countries, the people face risk of malaria. The interesting in 2023, 1 million cases more than in 2022. So they have to look at the WHO report. Even 2023, in our Florida, first time we have 8 human cases, West Coast, then Texas and Maryland. So we have to keep our program sustainable. Need to keep going on. You cannot just say, oh, this year no case, we forget about it. Right? Maybe next year outbreak again. So this is very, very important, yeah. Currently, still about 600,000 people died in malaria in 85 countries. That's the other thing, the more interesting, dengue fever. Since 2014, dengue fever get more important. Since 2014, we outbreak for many countries, the dengue fever. I just last month, I went to Taiwan, provided our funding, so gave the keynote speaker about the dengue situation and the dengue vector control. That's the Asia Pacific Economic Collaboration Organization. It's just like a NATO, like they call it APEC. The USA is one of the members of 21 countries. So they can, after the COVID-19, so what's happening that dengue fever increase, what can we deal? Most deals in new technology, innovation. So currently we have lots of people, still about 2.2 billion people, and they suffer that dengue. So lots of cases, so many countries still you look at it.
Dr. Shu,
Yeah.
in that map, in
Dr.
Africa, it's like they have it, they don't. They have it, they don't. They have it, they don't. Do you know why that is across that street? Is it
Didn't
because
report.
some of the
They didn't have the capability to report testing.
Okay.
Underestimate, under-testing.
Okay.
So that may not be accurate.
It's not,
Yes.
that's impossible.
Actually, more than what we knew the number. So that's the dengue situation. It's really, really important. You can see that's the USA travel related. We have 68% of US people, US citizens travel to other countries in the world. Over 68% in the total travel to USA. So that's you see the 2024 travel related case, majority coming from Florida. Because Florida is the gate of USA, especially Miami, Key West, yeah. You can see the increase. Also, you can see Florida. Florida travel-related the mosquito-borne disease since 2010. Major issue is since 2022. Then outbreak, dengue fever outbreak in Miami, that's Dade County. That's in 2023. You can see every year increase. Also, based on the CDC report, in the last 30 years, we have about 10 new germ in travel coming to influencing USA, coming USA. Like last couple years from our purchase virus, so that's a new virus. Chikungunya, Zika, and that's also after 2014 coming. So 2016 the Zika outbreak. I remember was a former commissioner Gary with the governor, current senator Scott coming here meeting us. How can we handle it? How can we deal with the Zika in the Department of Health? So that's why Florida has at that time about 8 something baby small head. In Brazil, it's 1,500 people, what we call microsurfing. So each one costs you whole life. You cost support life, everything, about currently around $2 million. That's the reason if you can save one baby, you can save $2 million. So the whole life, yeah. So that's the travel-related case. Yeah.
I don't know if it's because my eyes are terrible, but on the keys, it didn't look like it was lit up, and I thought that they were having quite the dengue outbreak a couple years ago.
Yes,
Or was
2023.
is that what the GMO mosquitoes fixed? Was the dengue outbreak?
GMO almost 10 years. The last 2 years I started the GMO. The first all water people, finally they did an experiment. So they did 2 years. So it's working.
Good.
Yeah, first the last paperwork through EPA, and EPA said through the FDA registration, then later back to EPA. EPA got a registration, allow them to experiment in Florida Key West.
They're not
Yeah, this is
lit
a
up,
local acquired case of mosquito-borne disease in Florida. Major is dengue fever. So that's what it means local acquired. These people never going to travel. Just other people breathe the disease here, pathogen here. Then we have the vector mosquitoes. So we have lots of travel. Our county is one of top for tourists there for travel. So lots of people coming. Other thing, our people sensitive. We don't have resistance about any kind of pathogen, malaria, dengue, anything. That if positive biting, you have more chance to get suffer the disease. So you can see there's a local quality disease. There's a mosquito-borne disease impact and vector control. Impact major equal is economical impact, development. Direct medical cost. If you have a fever, you have a disease, see doctor, you probably need to take about 2 weeks of work. So indirect cost lose productivity. You headache, you anything fever, how can productivity? Or the factor tourists, especially our area, our cost for vector control. You know, in Florida, for mosquito control, our total budget over $285 million for mosquito control. The special district all budget put that together. We are the middle size, under middle size, not the top. The top Lee County, Florida Key, and Collier, and much more than. So that's we are the middle number 7 rank our budget for mosquito control. So that's the situation demand. We really need enhance public health entomology capacity. Currently, we are very good condition. So the last 10, 15 years, we recruit more and high educated for like a PhD, entomologist, biologist, and also training through the staff training, master's degree for entomologist. Currently, we have 5 PhD in staff. So we will have 6 PhD before, so we will be recruited out soon. Also, we have 6 master's degree staff working and get their degree. Also, 1 PhD through University of Florida entomology. This is the capacity is very, very important. You need to train people, let them know how to do the work. Or improve the coordination. We have very good cooperation with many organizations. So throughout the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and the NACI, and the last private company, and the university. The cooperation is very, very important. Now, currently, one organization, you cannot do too much. You have to depend on each other. So that's the reason any new technology we touch, we start. You can check out any kind of new technology on the world discovery. We are in the front. So that's the interesting. Also need a stress monitor system, increase the availability and use of a nerve innovation, new technology. So that's the new technology is currently very, very important. Our conduct a necessary applied research. Applied research is not only gain reputation, you can say people, training people how to do the work, runs catch information. Some people come in here, ask you test something, or brand new technology, and a brand new business to hear, new idea. So that's very, very important, the applied research. Then your publication, then you can join the meeting, give a presentation, so the exchange information. Or promotion community involvement. That's a very, very important community involvement. Mosquito control not just by yourself, not by our board, our employer. And we need all people together work up. That's the reason DVC, the education center, very, very important. I was more impressed. So today, in the morning, about 80 people, students coming. We think that you see from this month until end of August, probably average about 200-300 people that will visit before no school. Since we opened 26 March last year, we over 12,000 people visit. It's lots of visitors, very impressive learning. You will see what's the real results. So the other thing, impact on tourism, trading, and control cost effectiveness. That's based on WHO. You see, outbreak lead to tourist decline. We have in 2016 Zika outbreak in Florida South. So that downtown, not many tourists. We get hurt, yeah. That's the reason the former mayor, Nancy of Rimbo, who is our employer, walking on the street with the former manager that Reggie were together working for public education, for training, public education outreach. So that's the very, very important for tourists. Especially our counting 74% of revenue coming from tourists, dependent tourists. So the travel advice due to mosquito-borne disease can reduce the foreign investment and visitor spend. So this is the WHO, some kind of report. You spend every $1 spread for prevention and control mosquito and vector-borne disease, you may save $5 to $10 in treatment. You prevent your loss of productivity.
So every $1 that we
you spend $1, you get a $5, $10
preventing,
benefits.
we get 5 to 10 back.
Yes. So the early warning system we need, and the mosquito control can reduce the case by 30 to 50%, cut a long-term cost. So that's the very important investment in dengue vaccine. Currently, we and Gates Foundation, others spend lots of money to do this, yeah. So hopefully future can prevent, just like a COVID vaccine, can prevent this. But dengue have 4 serotypes, very difficult. One vaccine hard to cover 4 types. That's the reason the challenge. So the cost effective vary by country or by county in Florida. That's in our county, back to our county. That's based on our county tourist report. So just the report from July 2021 to June 2022, about $2.5 billion in Xinjiang County, dependent tourists on hotel, restaurant, grocery, admission, shopping, entertainment, and transportation. The current situation, we collect the average about $16 per person per year for mosquito control. That's our strategy since last year. We set up 0.16. So about $24 per home per year for mosquito control. $16 per year. That's about $1.50 per month. You cannot buy a cup of coffee. How can you buy coffee? A cup of coffee is $3. So you get a very good, excellent service. So that's very, very, very important. I talking to the several international meeting. Generally talking to India, that vector control. Told them everybody's surprised. So everybody can pay. They can pay $16 per year for get a very good service. So that's a very, very important. Yeah. So the control principle, everybody knew that. No water, no mosquito. But we face the challenge. Currently, climate change, global warming, globalization, urbanization, transportation, migration. So the traditional method is working. Everybody knew that. No water, no mosquito. You see the container turn over. But who will do that? Who will pay for this? Like the taxpayer told us, we go into service and say, I pay your taxes, same as all of you, you have to do everything. We rate one full-time employee serve about 10,000 population. This is from California Anderson report. We are exactly same like this. So you one people, you serve 10,000 population. It's too many houses. How can you turn over for everyone? You have to encourage them to do themselves, and we can give the education there. So the other thing that how to evaluate it. I knew the education working. Everybody knew the education working. So last year we do not have any UMI case
Is this a big contribution? I don't know. I know it has a partially important role, but how can we evaluate that? So that's the situation. Or current public misinformation about the mosquito control. So they, you mosquito control kill honeybee. You can see we have the honeybee here. You see the night time, they're not activity. So night time you are really surprised kill fly mosquito, kill activity mosquito. So daytime only sunside honeybee working. We don't spray pesticide, we don't kill them. So many is misinformation. Or misinformation for new technology. Current AI technology and GMO. Just need more and more stuff. So AI technology, people worry about it. I lost the job, and I said no. So many years ago, we have a cell phone. Now cell phone, everyone has cell phone. You get very convinced. You cannot leave. Some make me joke. Get a harm. Husband, wife doesn't talk. And some is a girlfriend, boyfriend just throw cell phone, just communication. That's new technology. So anybody said lost job, you increase more job, computer and technology. So that's very, very important. They don't let the misinformation and the foolish people. Also currently face the situation increasing in cost for labors and materials. Yeah, this is hard to control, but we have to face the situation. Also cultural behavior resistant to technology, just talking about it. SAT, IIT, AI technology, GMO. So people also, we don't do GMO right now, but we have a collaboration with the Ventec in California, tested in our field cage, same as the NIH grant, tested. So the genetic operation, test look at what's happening. So what's the best solution? Best solution is best managing the practice for technology adoption for mosquito surveillance and control through mass collaboration. That's you have to collaboration. That's our major collaboration. This is the last few years. Some say CDC, some others have not put on. So cooperation, the principle very clear. You have to trust each other, support each other, and share information, exchange inspiration. So nobody foolish, nobody stupid. Now cooperation, they want to get something. You cannot only take it from people, you don't give back. So that's the reason we have very good relation with all federal government agents, with the university, and even international and the industry. They're willing to come here. So that's the we treat them very well. So that some it's unbelievable. You mean nature. They're coming here for grant, for medicine, help. You cannot provide one lunch. You have to let them buy some kind of lunch, buy some kind of drink. I don't think I'm going to come next time. Yeah, just too many competition. Where coming to you? So that's the relation. Basically, need to build up network. Very, very important. The money they can give to you. Why they can give to somebody else? Where are we going to give it to you? Come to you here, just like a different story. That's a very, very important collaboration. So there's a current technology and technical available in the marketing. You can see the medical for the surveillance. So we have a mobile phone, current. Also, we have that smart trap. Also, we have the eDNA test with collaboration with the University of Florida and many kind of stuff. You can see AI powered stuff. Later, I can quickly show you. So this is we have a cooperation with the Vectech, one company that get funding from USDA for help the research for identification mosquito species. Also, purpose develop the trap, AI trap. They use our cage. I believe one commissioner saw that the trap different. They come a bunch of people together. So that that's the finally products want to produce a good trap. Can ID mosquito species or the county number of mosquito. That's currently on the marketing several trap already. So that's the BG County 2. That's almost on marketing for a couple of years. So the mosquito get in, the county number get a very simple species ID. So the other is that diploma just automatically program the trap going to field. You can set your home, set your officer. You get what's the species, what's the number. can get some justification. That's the marketing already.
Does that drive itself, or is that like
By
a
yourself.
drone?
Self. Yeah, this is a new technology about eDNA, environmental DNA, and environmental RNA. So everything mosquito, anything is DNA. Using water and in air, so we cooperate with the University of Florida Winter Laboratory, so they can test for species identification. Also, he said they can do some kind of virus test. The virus is probably more difficult. This year we propose for dogs grant only focus mosquito particles that can certain species. Last year he tried to propose more, include virus more difficult. So that's the technical for the control. SAT, you see, SAT almost 75 years history, but just last 10, 15 years get more attention because of environmental issue and other issue. Currently, people also beginning to worry about the radiation. Currently, which is X-ray, results the same with the radiation. So we cooperate with the University of Florida, just published a publication. So that Wabaki, we thank you about approve the agreement with the mosquito net. We have 2 rules so with the mosquito real room cooperation. So that yesterday we received that from a mosquito net that get the EPA and confirm already. So we are one of a production sites for Wabaki. So they can provide some mosquito for us to use. So rest they can provide other program.
Are they
So-
here yet? Are the people here?
The people they're coming a couple times. Also, they'll be planning to move some stuff here already. Yeah, they just get EPAs for the proof that we are one of the production sites. So genetic multiple mosquito, gene driver, CRISPR, that's just talking about. Biopesticides, nanotechnology. Currently we have 1 PhD and the car lab manager work on for this. And the drone, we have 2 drones because it's a work very well. Also, we try budget next year, budget several robot. Robot is automatically can try, yeah.
I just have a question about that. Can you explain, I'm sorry, CRISPR-based modification ensures that genes preventing virus transmission spread in mosquitoes? I
Oh, the CRISPR, yeah.
Yeah, CRISPR is a term. It's a several what categories is genetic and molecular entomology use the change the gene so they can transfer to mosquito that can prevent virus infection transmission.
So
Yeah,
an
some kind of
example is like the mosquito mate,
Yeah, just like a GMO something.
they
similar.
change it without like genetically modifying whatever, but
Okay.
they can take it out and then the mosquito
Yes.
could be sterile or not, the babies won't come to term.
How does that spread though?
So I think it's like a grammatical error.
Okay.
It should say
Hmm.
not
I'm
to
tracking.
spread and
That's what I,
instead-
okay.
Right, and CRISPR is a
Sorry,
genetic
guys.
modification and Wolbachia is not, because it's a live bacteria.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, last year was
bacteria introduced.
last year with the University California San Diego genetic group. Unbelievable. They make the mosquito through gene transfer them after emerging mosquito couldn't fly. just,
Yeah,
just walking.
Oh, Dr. Shu, I know what he was saying, because the sentence says that the modification ensures
Yeah.
that the genes preventing the virus transmission spread
Yeah.
into the mosquitoes.
Right, yeah.
So we'll have to fix
Yeah.
that, yeah.
So the also ATSB. ATSB we are one of the invention for track sugar base based on mosquito behavior. Also Gates Foundation about the 30 million funding last 10 years for special repellents. There's some situation happening, the good thing, yeah. Or vaccine, just talking about that dengue, malaria vaccines so many years, but so far still on the registration discussion. Now I couldn't understand why people, pharmaceuticals didn't do antivirus drug. You see the malaria get rid of, like China and Sri Lanka and many. Now India, there will be goal 2030, they will be get rid of malaria. Malaria is other than major mass and use drug. Everybody get a drug. That's some kind of anti-malaria. If dengue like this, probably it's better look at what's happening. So after COVID, many people are learning from COVID virus what's going on. hopefully one day they have anti-dengue drug in the marketing. So this is our AI-powered unmanned ground vehicle for supply. The control, we cooperation, one the company in the North Orlando for agriculture. I tried to, last year, I invited a company here demonstration. They said interesting, but it never happens. One day we will visit there, bring some kind of machine to here test for them. This is normally what's happening. Integrated mosquito management. This is since 1978 that former President Nixon and proposed as a IPM, integrated pest management. Also, last 10 years, other term come, pest management practice. I must combine multiple strategy to reduce the vector population. And you cannot kill all of them. Just under that population, not to transmit disease, or say that minimize the environmental impact. No matter what kind of method, before the 4 words, I plus 1 more word. Effective, no matter what kind of method, you have to effective. Number 2, safety. You do not want to kill everything. Number 3, economical, cheap. People can affordable. Number 4, simple. Everybody can use. It's so complicated. Spend 2-3 hours figure out that's not a marketing. I add another word, sustainability. It's based on many years. It's a method that is mature already. How can you keep forward, continue, keep this sustainability very, very important. Currently, many methods here already. Just keep it there. So basically, management practice is environmentally and consider mosquito species, consider also local condition and collaboration. The key component, source reduction, elementary container standard water, improve drainage. Use larvicide, biocontrol, use predator, mosquito fish, dragonfly larva, nematode, copper pody. And we have toxicating for education, but not a practical use. Or use Wolbachia bacteria, chemical control, target only use, I thought I said larvicide. We use it as a last choice. If top method didn't work very well, one last choice we use pesticides. We are not forced to come to pesticide. Pesticide is easy, but we leave the condition. I don't want to affect our life, anything. It's ecosystem. So genetic biocontrol approach, SAT, IIT, gene driver, outreach. Just talking about public education, community involvement, engagement. Through social media, currently social media is unbelievable. Or the citizen science. So you can use a cell phone report. You can do many kind of things. They tell you, oh, the mosquito biting, you can take a picture, send to you, or what's the species, how dangerous. Or sustainable for surveillance, monitor, evaluation. That's our special district special. So we keep the continue whole year surveillance and monitor. So that's the current AI, just talking about open AI. Many things coming. You cannot believe. Just such a simple. For me, it's much easier. I love it. I apply every day. Anything question before use Google, only partially answer. Use the website, how things unbelievable. Just help you many things. So that's for free. That's the AMCD benefits. 2018, I remember bought several people, Commissioner Baker, the way you also noticed on the board 2018. So started at mobile phone, about this kind of issue. So that's unbelievable. Currently, many reports all use that. So we have used our app, they download, you can see 2 things. So that's the, after you put your cell phone, iPad, computer, everything can put on. So request, then quickly get a technician, receive, quickly get a service. So our service request reduce a lot. Before the paperwork took too much time. But now we need more work on use the citizen science for report. Teach people, you have a mosquito biting, take a picture, send it to us. We can ID the species, we can look at how dangerous. Also the disease risk warning. Like currently this area has some kind of disease. Some countries they use already. Just like somebody kidnap your phone, you can see warning. Okay, here you have to pay attention, prevention, tech prevention. So that's looking for future warning activity. This is that our so many years that adoption technology. You see that our finally accomplishment. Since 2016 outbreak of Zika, so we have 26 suspected Zika case. Was confirmed 6 positive in our county. Also was 7 suspected dengue case in 2017 to 2024. 5 positive confirmed. But no any local court case for Zika dengue. That's a big accomplishment. Nobody can believe that. In Florida, you mosquito, so-called capital city of mosquito. So when I gave it to some people ask, how can you do that? So why Miami always having cases? So that's all cases travel related to it. Except the 2022, we have 1 human case, EEE, and 1 human case, West Nile, 2023. Since 2003, we only have 2 human cases. If you heard the news, all the just happen, how many cases, 12 West Nile, anything happen, you can see. That's the big accomplishment. Rock. Okay, this is the since we move to here. We have an annual workshop. We have lots of visitors. Annual probably around 800 to 1,000 people coming here. Industry, not only this is just news since last year. Discussion, business, how to testing and training. Workshop close about 200 people bring here worldwide. All the immobile increase. So we get about over 3.5 million in grant and other funding in the past 10 years. That's a lot of money, yeah, for compare with the university, so not bad, yeah. So that's our managing rate. You see, with the 19 since the beginning, so 4.5. You see, the last year is 0.16. We gradually reduce. Also, we have very good reserve money. Let's put it together. So AMCD, as a part of CDC, Southeast Excellence Center for Vector-borne disease, that's since almost 7 years. So every year we have 1 or 2 inter-students funded by their work here. So also since last year, we become part of South Gulf Vector Control, Vector Education something. Also ESA, Entomology Society of America, for the training intern. They paid for work here, get a training program. That's over 10 people actually. So we are one of 10 hubs for the training other mosquito control for education by American Mosquito Control Association in 2017, 2018. We certified 108 people certified mosquito control. So AMCA is the leadership for the national mosquito control or for the state mosquito control. So the first, our FMC president, our first director was 1956. After 59 years, AMCD, I was elected for president in 2016. So the last year we have Mr. Richard Weaver as president. I believe we have more future. We have more. So the American mosquito control, in our history, I'm the first time for my AMCD electing the president for American mosquito control. So that's the national state level. I hope in future we have more. You have the leadership, so you can get more money, get more influence. So that's very, very important. Also, our district as a mentor district provide training to other mosquito control programs in Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, also by National Association City County Health Officer since 2019 to 2024. We held a workshop last year, and we have several MOU with the agents to train inter-student and applied research project. So far, we trained 139 interns, 28 visitor scientists from other countries, and 4 PhD students throughout University of Florida. So annual workshop attracted more than 300 participants from USA and international. We provided 375 continuing education grades. Also, we are partner of the EPA, AMCD Pesticides Environmental Stewardship Program, and they use pesticides properly. We not stop use pesticides, but use it properly. Also, we received 13 national awards, national association, AMCA and SOVE, ESA. So 18 state association award. So we can see we have a special district award some years ago. So they also we are GLP laboratories recognized by EPA. And we received just talking about 3.5 million funding. So we also are the co-author of over 280 publications and book chapter in the past 20 years. So really thank you about the support. Thank you for that all that hard, dedicated employee work together. My conclusion will be the congressman talking, recognizing AMCD. So the thank you, appreciate Commissioner Baker and the help for this.
Madam Speaker, I rise to recognize the critical public health work carried on by our nation's mosquito control professionals. And mosquitoes are not just a nuisance. In fact, they are also vectors for deadly diseases like malaria, Zika, and the famous West Nile virus. The world-renowned Anastasia Mosquito Control District, which is located in my district in St. Johns County, St. Augustine, Florida, was initially formed thanks to Floridians who wanted to live mosquito-free. Since 1948, the AMCD has served more than 320,000 Floridians in St. Johns County. AMCD is now the leader in education and applied research all across the world in the field of mosquito control, not just in Florida, not just the United States, but literally across the globe. I urge my colleagues to meet with their mosquito control professionals to learn more about this critical mission, because it truly is about our health care in America. With that, I yield back.
That's my conclusion. Thank you. Currently, we are one of the model in the nation, in the international. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shu. Well, we couldn't have done any of it without your vision.
Yes,
So you
people,
bring
everybody.
the new visions, and
Everybody.
our team carries it out in a most excellent way. Thank you, Dr. Shu.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, yes, Mr. Howe. Yes, please.
I'm Gary Howe.
Afternoon, Gary.
This is our newest commissioner. He used to be the chair of this board a few years
We
back.
know each other.
Okay.
I know this guy.
That's
How you
right.
doing, guy?
That's right.
Nice to see you.
This guy. In 19, I think it's about, that little buzz you heard a while ago was my, I'm diabetic. I have an insulin pod and it gave trouble. So
You
anyhow,
okay then?
I apologize for the beep. Dr. Shu, I think about 1999, we looked into drones. Remember that?
Yeah, it was
It was about yay
the
long.
drone start drone.
And
Police.
the other commissioners thought we were nuts. Seriously.
Yeah.
Thought we were crazy. And they made them in Japan, little drones, rockets. They look more like a rocket ship. So we were going to travel over there at our expense and check things out. But the other commissioners wouldn't have any of this and so forth and so on. But today we have lots of drones, don't we? We looked into the future. Dr. Shu, in fact, I tried to get him to be our director, and they wouldn't have any part of that. So when I left in 2004, guess what? They hired Dr. Shu. So I went over there, I said, I told you so. No. But I'm telling you today, research, the commissioners need to educate yourself as to what's going on. Dr. Shu is way beyond, I feel like, always have. He's not only a friend of mine, he's a great employee, and he had a vision down the road for what mosquito control needed. So I was impressed with all this stuff, and I thought back about that. And I want to tell y'all one other thing, that we dealt with the governor, and Dr. Shu threw me under the bus. We were talking, we had a news conference, so the governor says, this is about Zika, Zika, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know.
His daughter was pregnant with a child, and that's a little small head, so he was all over the Zika virus, in which they had it a lot down in Miami, and that's where she lived at. So he says, and I want to tell you about Zika, but here's the experts. Let them tell you. Dr. Shu looked at me, and I'm like, I was chairman, but they handed me the mic. Dr. Shu pointed at me like I'm the expert. And I'm like, I was not the expert, but I made my way through that interview, and Dr. Shu was there to kind of whisper in my ear. So you guys take advantage of him. He's got the biggest amount of knowledge and forethought than anybody I've dealt with. I dealt with another director before, and he wasn't even in the same league, same bus with Dr. Shu. Dr. Shu goes, he trains his commissioners, he trained me. So I just want to applaud him again, myself, personally.
Thank you.
Doing a great job today, and thank y'all for this presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Before we move on to number 3, there was something that I forgot to do earlier. When we had our selection committee motion, we also need to convene a meeting the week of May 19th to approve an RFP. And I said we could make the meeting, whatever, but it needs to be the week of the 19th, and I'm sorry that my paper, I didn't see that. So that's this month, May 19th, that's a Monday, so anytime throughout that week. So if you two can find a date that works, a better time,
Monday would probably be,
Monday the 19th?
that would be the best day for me.
Sure, I can do
Is
that.
that okay?
Okay.
Can you do
And
19th?
is there a time frame that works better?
This morning, anytime.
Okay, and for the staff, is there a better time frame for us to have the meeting?
If you record it, probably 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., maximum 1 hour is enough here.
4.
You want a 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. or you?
On the 19th?
Yeah.
Well, he said the morning. Is there-
No, it's okay. That was just my preference, but I could do anytime. It's okay.
For sure?
Yeah, yeah.
Up to you, yeah.
I can do
Okay,
it.
Whatever's easier for you guys.
4 to 5.
Okay, so we'll
Okay.
set, we'll have our auditor selection, our first auditor selection committee meeting on May 19th at 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. And Heather will get that posted for us. And I apologize for not getting that done earlier. Okay, so I think we had a pretty good meeting so far, and I made a really long speech that I was gonna read, like I like to do, but I'm just not gonna do that this time. So I guess I'll just sum it up quickly by saying that my husband got promoted, and that means, unfortunately, that we are moving. And so I'm gonna be resigning from the board. Next month, the June meeting will be my last meeting as chair. So I can do that meeting, and then at the end of the meeting, we'll have to vote for a new commissioner. So make sure, to think about if you'd like to be, what would you like to be? And I'm not sure if I'll be able to be here for the July meeting or not. I might be flying, I might be able to phone in. So that's why I was saying that June's gonna be my last meeting.
Where are you going?
Ohio. And there is a mosquito control there, so that
Well,
was
there
good.
you go.
So,
Congratulations.
yeah. I know, thank you. It's happy, but it's sad
Yeah.
at the same time. So think about that, and I'll get everything ready for that, and we'll have a month to think about it. And so now we can move on to reports.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm talking too much already. That we just hired that 8 seasonal employee, included worker for education center. That yesterday we have our employee meeting, welcome a new employee, just let them know and they get a welcome and what they should pay attention. And everything is ready, and we started running smoothly, so thank you. So also I plan to next week, there will be DC for the AMCD lobby, and Commissioner DG going to there, Mr. Richard Weaver. So after that, I come back and work for 2 days. Then from May 19 to 32 weeks, I have a vacation. So that travel during vacation, I have one invitation, I have a 2-day meeting, ask them give a presentation and talking about some kind of mosquito-borne disease, how we run our business, special district or something. That's it. Anything you can let me know if you need. Also, when I'm not here, Assistant Director, Dr. Paul in charge, but my email and taxi, anything that can open, I try to check, not like every day, but I have to quickly respond if you need.
All right, thank you, Dr. Shu.
Thank you.
Dan, do you have anything to add?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's now move on to actually, there was one other thing. I saw Dana here earlier. Is he still
left.
here?
Yeah, he left.
Is there anything that we needed to talk about in Ariel? No? Okay. All right. So, Commissioner Gardner, any comments?
I do not have any comments, but I'm sorry to see you go. Really am. Truly am.
Thank you. Commissioner LeBlanc?
I just want to wish you luck in your future endeavors, and as always, I want to thank the staff for all their hard work.
All right, excellent. Okay, well, our meeting is adjourned, and the 3 of us will be here on the 19th for the auditor selection meeting, and then we will have our policy committee meeting June 12th at 4 p.m. and the regular meeting at 5.
Yeah, she did, I don't.
Okay, so this meeting's adjourned. Thank you.